Hey there, Angular peeps. Ready to create another animation with me? In this tutorial, we're going to add a smooth expanding and collapsing animation to our project to make it not just functional, but dynamic and polished. We'll kick things off with the basics, and then we'll take it up a notch with some more advanced concepts towards the end. Okay, let's get started. Here's the application we'll be using in this demo. We have a basic list of great NBA players. As you can see, each player in the list has a button that we can use to show and hide a panel of additional content about the given player. So that's neat, but it feels pretty abrupt when we toggle this content, doesn't it? I think so. So we're going to add an animation for this to make it feel better. But before we can create and add our animation, we need to include the animations module. To do this, we need to add the providers array to our Bootstrap application function. Then we need to include the provide animations async function within this array. Okay, now we can add animations. Each of the players in this list are displayed with a player component. So this is where we'll need to add our animation. First, let's look at the template for this component. This section here is where the extra details are rendered. And as we can see, this region is conditional. It's added and removed from the DOM when the show details property changes. And this property changes when we click this button. Okay, let's add the animations now. To begin, we need to add the animations property to our component metadata. To create an animation, we need to add the trigger function. This function will need to be imported from the Angular Animations module. Then we need to add a name for this trigger. Let's go with toggle. Within this function, we'll add some transitions with the transition function. This function needs to be imported from the animations module as well. Then, since this container will be entering and leaving the DOM, we can use a special alias to target the opening state. We can add a colon followed by the word enter. So this will be the animation that runs when we make the content visible. Next, we can add the style that we'll want to start our animation from. For this, we'll use the style function, also from the animations module. Within this function, we add the styles we want as an object. So we'll add a height of 0, and we'll add an opacity of 0.2. Now we can add the animation to animate to our open style. We'll use the animate function from the animation module for this. The first parameter that we need to provide is the duration and easing function. Let's go with a duration of 1 second. And we'll use the ease in easing function. Now, 1 second is probably a little long for an animation like this. Normally, I'd want to keep it under 250 milliseconds, but I want to make sure we can really see the animation. In a real-world scenario, you'll often want to keep your animation durations short so that the user doesn't really notice them. Okay, next we need to add the style that we want to animate to. So we'll add another style function. So we need to animate the height, but the heights of these are all different. So how do we animate to an unknown height? Well, Angular has a special token for this. We can use an asterisk. This will animate to the dynamic end height of the content no matter what that height is. Then we just need to add an opacity of 1. Okay, this is all we need for our opening animation when the content is added to the DOM. Next, we need to add the closing animation when the content is removed from the DOM. For this, we need to add another transition. This time, we'll use the leave alias. After that, we just need to add the inverse of the enter animation. So a starting style of the unknown height and an opacity of 1. Then we'll animate with the same duration and easing to an ending style with a height of 0 and an opacity of 0 too. Okay, that's it for the animation. Now we just need to configure our section element to use it. We do this by first adding an @ symbol, followed by the trigger name. Okay, that's it. Let's save and see how it works now. Okay, now we have a nice little animation when we toggle this content. Now that's much better than it was before, right? But I think we can make it even a little better. Let's look at how we can use some more advanced animation concepts to add a transition to slide the inner content in and out as the enter and leave animations run. Okay, in this scenario, we are going to need to keep the height transition as is, but we need to add a transition on the inner element with the details class. This means that we'll need to query for this container using the query function from the animations module. This function allows us to find child elements inside the element with the trigger and animate them. To query for an element, we use a CSS selector. In this case, it's the details class. Then within this query, let's add our starting style for this element. In order to slide it in, we'll set a translate value that pushes it up out of the container to start. Now, we just need to add the animation for this item, right? So let's add another query. Then let's add the animate function with the same duration and easing. Then we just need to add our end style, which will be to translate to a normal position. Okay, now an important concept when adding animations is that they run in sequence. This means that first, these styles will apply, then the height animation will run, and then after it completes, this transition will run. But what we want here is for both of these animations to run simultaneously. It would be weird if one ran before the other. So for this, we can use another animation concept, the group function. We'll wrap these two animations in an array within this function. And this will set these to animate in parallel. Okay, now we just need to add the inverse for the leave animation. First, we add the starting style. So starting from the default translate position. Then we can add a group. Then we can add another query and another animate function with the same duration and easing. And finally, the style to translate up out of the container. Let's save and see if it looks any better now. Maybe a little bit. I think it's a little better sliding in like that. It's probably negligible, but hopefully you have some more tools to go and add your own expanding and collapsing animations now. Okay, I guess that's it for now. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you did, check out my channel for more videos on Angular animations and on various other topics and features within Angular.